What is going on, nerds? We have our weekly Yang for New York campaign update. My God, has there been a lot going on? We had the AOC endorsement. We had the last debate. What do the polls say? What do the gamblers say? What's the media coverage look like? We're going to hit it all. But before we do that, let's warm it up, Andrew.
Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up. Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and.
Hello, nerds! Nerds for Humanity. We only have a little over 2 weeks before the New York City mayoral primary. New Jack City. Unbelievable. Remember when Yang was so far in the lead, it was just like, oh, he's got it. Well, those days are over. This is going to be a dogfight. If you saw that debate, you know what I mean. In fact, I might do a little reaction to that Yang-Adams exchange later on in this broadcast. Hey, Maria. Maria says, hello, nerds. Hello, Maria. How you doing? Hello, Kronos, 1997. All right. Well, let's start with some polling. Now, unfortunately, there hasn't been a ton of new polling, but we're going to go over the latest polling that is available. Oh, am I like not visible? Oops. Hold on. I know what's going on. There we go. All right. Now we're getting going here. All right. Here we go. All right. So for the polls, what is going on with this? Here we go. Much better. Okay, this is the current trending of the polls. And I just should note that the last poll we have is the Emerson one from May 24th. So that's about 2 weeks ago, and certainly doesn't reflect the debate, and definitely doesn't reflect the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Wiley alliance. So who knows? I would imagine that was not good news for Mr. Stringer. I don't know if there's a whole bunch of people who are ranking Yang as number one who are like, oh, well, now that AOC says to go for Wiley, they're going to necessarily do that. However, I could see Morales people moving to Wiley. But as you can see in this chart, Wiley is not exactly, sort of the biggest threat. She's at 10%. If you say Stringer's at 12 and Morales was at 8, if she took half of Stringer's and half of Morales, that would be another 10 points, and that would take her to 20. And that would compare to Yang, who's about 18. So I suppose if half of the Morales and half of the Stringer people bolted over to Camp Wiley, then she would now be in the top tier. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Certainly could be worse for Yang. Had for some reason AOC endorsed Adams, highly unlikely, but had she endorsed, let's say, Garcia, ooh, Nelly. If AOC had endorsed this orange line here, we'd be in big freaking trouble. Let's be honest. So thank you, AOC, for endorsing Wiley. Nicely done. All right. Oh, Sleeve says thank you for the channel. Whoops. How do I move myself out of the way here? There we go. Thank you, Sleeve. Appreciate your kind words. Spider Bang. Man, I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Good to see you. All right, Elizabeth Norris is here. One of our most loyal viewers. Okay, so now let's get back to the numbers. Here's what the Emerson poll looked like. You had Garcia winning the number one position with 21%. And you had Yang with 16. Garcia winning the number 2 slot also with 23%. Yang at 17. Wow. My God. Yeah, she's strong. Garcia is strong. So, any rate, that is basically the state of the race as of May 24th. And I think the biggest news this week is obviously, well, maybe not obviously, the AOC endorsement of the pink line here, which is Wiley. And I would imagine that pink line will move up and might move into the top tier. So congrats to the Maya Wiley supporters. Now, interestingly enough, Maya Wiley was not born in New York City or even New York State. She grew up in D.C., went to school in New Hampshire. I don't know if people are calling her a tourist, but I guess we'll see. Now, let's move on to news coverage. What are they saying about Yang? 2 days ago, Politico reports Yang chased by angry protesters in Brooklyn. Yang says one reason he wants to be mayor is so he can hang out with favorite sports teams. So this is Fox News and New York Post. Basically, I don't know what Fox's dog is in this fight. I'm guessing they just kind of, I don't think they care. They know that a Democrat's going to win. Post is, I think, notoriously anti-Yang. And New York Times is pretty dismissive. But these are the 5 takeaways from the NYC race. Yang changes his tune. Let's see what the Times says. All right. This was published on May 31st, so just about a week ago. Garcia gets a super PAC. John Jones and Ronnie Cho, 2 veterans of Barack Obama's first campaign, are putting together a super PAC pro Garcia. So congratulations to the Garcia fans for getting some more money. Yang goes negative on Garcia. For months, Yang has parried criticism for his lack of experience with a promise to surround himself once in office with the most skilled government hands, consistently has named Garcia among them. She's a disciplined operator with great experience. I hope that she's a partner. So that was when Garcia was pretty low in the polls. Last Tuesday, Garcia led the field, and now Yang is singing a different song. We talk about her experience as the head of the Department of Sanitation. Right now, New Yorkers complain to me just about every day about piles of trash that we're seeing around us getting higher and higher. So that is an interesting change of tune for sure, from Yang loves everyone to, well, you know, Garcia's not perfect. Morales staffers wage a protest against her. That's pretty terrible. If your own campaign is organizing protests against you. Nerds. Oh, what do we got there? We have a new subscriber, Druzy Tran. Welcome, Druzy Tran, as a new subscriber to the channel. And by the way, folks, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we can increase awareness of this great content, if I do say so myself. All right. Let's get back to the thing we were talking about. All right. So that was, the Morales. There's your little reminder to like and share this now. Okay. So Morales, when your campaign is organizing not campaign events, but protests against you as a leader, I don't know how people still are supporting Morales. And AOC is probably lucky that she didn't endorse her, because that would have been pretty embarrassing. Let's see. Adams wants to crack down on loud dirt bikes. Not exactly the most serious issue, but that's what he's talking about. Quality of life issues taking on growing importance. Adams. Stringer released a proposal to reduce noise pollution. Okay. Illegal fireworks. Okay, so those are some of the headlines. Let's go back to other news coverage. We'll go. I don't need to remind you for a little while to like and share, but I'm going to remove that little banner. But if you could still like and share, that would be great. All right. So Andrew Yang, New York. Oh, 538. This is on May 28th. New York mayoral election is no longer Yang's to lose. Let's see here. This is showing not only the Emerson, but the Slingshot and Core Decision Analytics survey showing Yang at 13, 19, and 16 with an average of 16. Adams averaging 18, and Garcia averaging 14. So definitely very close. 538. Okay, I think that was it. I don't think 538 gave us a whole much more of data about this. 538's kind of not as impressive as it used to be. All right, now let's see what is Andrew talking about himself on the Twitter. He's got a pinned ad by Evelyn. He's got you gotta love a candidate that's a dog person. Now you also gotta be a little worried when you watch this, because you're like, oh my God, please, I hope this dog doesn't jump on the man or cause any major issues. But let's see, like, what are you gonna do if you're campaigning and you see a big dog? Do you keep your distance, play it safe, and say, oh, nice dog? Or do you go in there and start wrestling with it? Let's see what happens.
Just turned a year.
You're only a year old. You're a puppy. You're the biggest puppy I've ever seen. You're the biggest puppy I've ever seen. Oh my God.
He's getting in there.
Can you believe it? He's 1 year old.
That's a
She's
dog
the biggest
person
puppy.
right there.
She's
Now,
150.
If you're a real dog person, he'd probably do the butt scratch. But I don't know if Yang wants. That may not be a good visual to scratch the dog's rear quarters. But as many of us dog owners know, some dogs do enjoy that.
50 pounds and 1 year old. Well, you know what this means? When she gets to be 4 years old, she's going to be 600 pounds. She's going to be like Clifford the big red dog.
Very nicely done, Andrew. Of course, we know that dog growth is not linear. And it decays significantly from year 1 to year 2, and then dramatically plateaus at 3. So I don't know if it means it would be 600 pounds after 4 years, because based on that logic, she'd be like 1,200 pounds after 8 years. All right, let's see. He also posted about canvassing in Chinatown. Let me tell you something. If anybody's volunteering and canvassing with the Asian American New York voters, like, you guys may be the ones that are the huge difference. That might be the headline. The rise of the power of the Asian American vote, and how a candidate like Yang has activated voters for the Democratic Party, and in a race that previously don't really get as involved. Oh, Jekalago says, good job doing phone banking. I did do some phone banking. And let me tell you something. It was a lot of fun. I actually did it with my 11-year-old, and he was actually, he did a couple of calls himself where he was doing the talking. Little Brandon, the nerdlin for Yang. Let me see if I can even show you the video. It's so adorable. Hold on. I don't have it uploaded yet. Oh, I might actually. Hold on. You guys want to see the nerdling do phone banking? Hold on. Let me, whoops. Where was I? I was on Twitter. Yes, okay. Let me do this. Let me see if I can pull up the nerdling doing up the phone banking, because it was adorable. Because he was a little nervous. You know, he's only 11, but he's a bit of a performer. Like my 13-year-old is the ultimate introvert. He's kind of like me. But little Brandon, was willing to get in there and give it his best shot. Okay, so let me share my screen again, and we'll see the nerdling do it. All right, here we go. This is him doing some phone banking. Yeah. And I just wanted, because a lot of people aren't sure how it works. It's pretty easy. All you do is you log into this website that the Yang campaign gives you. And then it just automatically calls. And as you can see here, I'll try and blur out the names and stuff. But, you know, it gives you a little script. The hand blur.
You say, hello, Travis. My name is Tom, calling from Andrew Yang's mayoral campaign. You know, where do you plan to rank him? And then you scroll down here. If they rank 1 or 2, you say a different thing. And then you have a conclusion. And then it just goes on to the next one. We've made 73 calls today. And we talked to a few people.
Yeah, one guy was pretty cool.
One guy was cool, a couple undecideds, and you try and give that positive Yang energy, and it might move them up the list. So that's all it takes. If you haven't done phone banking before, I know it sounds kind of intimidating, but even Brandon, the nerdling, made a call. And Brandon, why don't you read the script so we can hear what it sounds like?
Okay, so hello, is something available? Hi, something. My name.
Hello, is Shannon available? Oh, that was a machine.
Okay, so we just got a machine.
Yeah, but let's make believe Shannon were available. What would you say, Brandon?
Oh, yeah, this is Shannon.
No, you gotta go.
Okay, I thought you.
Sorry, all right, let's try it again. Okay. So.
Hello, is Shannon available?
Yes, this is Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. My name is Brandon, calling from Andrew Yang's NYC Mayoral campaign. Andrew Yang is running for mayor of NYC to bring bold and innovative solutions to help every New Yorker thrive. The upcoming Democratic primary will be held on June 22nd and will use ranked choice voting. This means that you can rank him in the top 5. How would you rank Andrew Yang?
Oh, I love Andrew Yang. I'm going to rank him numero uno.
And then here I would.
And what do you say?
I would. Great. I'm so glad to hear you plan to rank Andrew first. Just so you know, there's 3 ways to vote this year. You can request a ballot by mail. You can vote in person from June 12th to June 20th. And the last chance you have is vote on election day on June 22nd.
Oh, then you're supposed to ask this question?
How do you plan on voting in NYC Democratic primary on June 22nd?
I'm going to vote early by mail.
Okay, so then I would write by mail.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be interested in volunteering for the campaign?
No, I'm really busy. Sorry.
Okay, and then I would write no.
Mm-hmm.
And then, would you be interested in us sending you a Yang for New York window sign?
Absolutely. I love window signs.
And I would say yes. And then I would say, do I do this? Okay.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you answering these questions. If you have any questions about Andrew Yang's platform or want to get involved with our grassroots campaign, please visit yangforny.com. This call was paid by yangfornewyork.inc. Have a nice day.
That's it.
Oh, such a cutie. He's such a cutie. Anyway, my point is that if Brandon can do it, and Mofo was calling people. I had to take a bio break, and he previously was just kind of watching me. And then I come back in, bro is talking to people on the phone. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, by the way, if you want to volunteer and do that phone banking, just go to yangforny.com. And then there's a option that says, I'll just show you. Yangforny.com. All right, let's do this. Share screen. You just go to yangforny.com, right, which is where I am right here. Then they're up on the top here. You see that there's an option. It says volunteer. And then under volunteer, you see make phone calls. Get started today. Say start today. And then you sign up for the time, and you're good to go. And then you show up to a Zoom link, and then they give you the script. It's they give you exactly all the tools you need to make it happen. So it's very user friendly. There's like a coach that answers any questions that you have, and it's fun. So I did talk to a bunch of people who were undecided, and I felt like we were able to kind of convey our positive yang energy, and hopefully we got them from like a 3 to a 2. Because if you pick off enough people who are supporting, let's say tier 2 candidates, and you're their number 2, like it's almost like a number 1 vote. So there you go. All right, let's see. What else is Yang talking about? Hold on. All right. Here we go. He is, what in the Sam Hill? Oh, I'm seeing like double here. There we go. We have a once-in-a-generation chance to deliver fundamental change. Bronxville. Jamaica Muslim Center. He's out there, man. Gun violence. So he's talking about a lot of stuff. Next, let's look at Twitter. I replaced Maya with Catherine Garcia, although you could argue with the... Actually, maybe I should put Maya Wiley back in here. Well, let's see. As you can see here, you know, Yang has 1.95 million. Garcia's 14,000. Eric Adams, 10,000. And then if you look at the daily growth rates, on June 5th, today, Eric Adams picked up 65, Garcia 86, Yang lost 300. On June 4th, Adams 65, Garcia 113, Yang lost 300. And then 146 for Adams, Yang lost 600, and then Garcia 214. So Yang is losing followers. I suspect a lot of his followers are national ones that he's losing out of the 2 million. And if we added Maya Wiley here, let me go and see if I can quickly look up her. Let me look up Maya Wiley's Twitter handle, and then we can replace her with Eric Adams. Let's see. Maya Wiley. Yes. Okay. Her Twitter handle is Maya Wiley. I had a feeling that was the case. So let's go back. And now we're going to go here and share. And now we're going to swap out Eric Adams for Maya Wiley. Maya Wiley. And here now you see Maya Wiley has 437,000 followers, and her daily growth rate, you would have thought she'd picked up more today with that endorsement. She picked up almost 200 to Garcia's 86 today. And then yesterday, June 4th, Maya picked up 200, Garcia 100. June 3rd, Maya 400, Garcia 200. So Maya Wiley on Twitter definitely growing faster than Garcia. Nobody has the Yang numbers, but Yang is losing Twitter followers. And yeah, I'm curious to hear why you guys think he's losing Twitter followers. I mean, I know we talked about the whole Israel tweet, but is it still that reason why he keeps losing followers every day? I don't know. But it is what it is. All right, we are now going to go on to search trends and betting odds. So let's go into search trends and betting odds. But before we do that, I want to thank the people who make this channel possible, the Nerds for Humanity channel members. And we're going to start with our highest level, our senior vice president level. And that person is none other than Soldier One. So Soldier One, thank you for being our biggest supporter at the moment. Very much appreciated. And you make this channel and this content possible. And if you've been thinking about joining, just hit that join link on YouTube. And you can start joining for as little as a couple bucks a month. And all of it goes to hosting fees, promotion of the channel. Doesn't go to my living expenses. So let's see. Let's look at our VP level. We've got VLAM. Oh, I know. Gotta move myself. Hold on. My face is in this thing. There. Okay. We've got VLAM, JMSAT, Fat Lamb, Kristen Slevin, Laura Lane, Patrick Dunn, Richard Johnson, Bike, and Mindful Skeptics. Then we've got the hardcore level. We have Mike Chang, Gene Lim, David, DK, Phoenix, Jackalego. Jackalego is in the chat right now. Kirsch, Mr. History, Byron, Mona, Susan, Yang Deng, who was in the phone banking with me today. Tony Perella, Robert Wu, Dean L, Statnerd, Galessa, Jay Perrin, AEH, Jay Bryan, Vivian Lin, Dana, Flavio, Yoda Fanny, Jason, and Parth Patel. And then at our entry level, we have our verified nerds. Helen, Lisa, Sugar, Albert, Brandon, Yes, Brian, Peter, Arez, Your Maman, Sophia, Jedwiga, Gail, Shake, Mike, Doris, Emerald, Lori, Ben, Roger, Lisa, Christina, Vaughn, Rasta, Jessica, Elizabeth, James, Jalopy, Emma, Hui, Ira, Spirited, Shoni, Philip, Jameson, Doctor, William, Karen, Monica, Mai, Ardent, Semery, David, Brittany, Clyde, Sasha, Juana, Warren, Reddy, and Lukey. And our newest members overall, our freshest nerds, least time as members, would be Lukey Monster, less than a month. So welcome, Lukey. All right. Now, let's go on to search trends. Who are people searching for? And let me move my face to the left. Okay. Here we go. Let's say past 7 days, you've got more people searching for Yang. Oh, as many people searching for Yang. Oh, God, I gotta move my face again to the middle. There we go. As many people searching for Yang as they are searching for Eric Adams. And then you've got Catherine Garcia pretty close. Stringer and Wiley not so much in past 7 days. Now, if you look at past 90 days, you'll see Yang was much more dominant. You know, pretty much double the search traffic for Yang than there have been for Adams. And if you look at the past 4 hours, oh, snap. Who is getting searched for? Maya Wiley. So there you go. Maya Wiley getting a lot of action from that endorsement. If we say past day, you see here clearly around 11 a.m. Pacific time, there was a whole lot of searching for Maya Wiley. And now she's getting as many searches in the past day, 50% more than Yang and Stringer, who are the next two, and then Adams and Garcia. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Garcia hangs on. When I did my phone banking, I did find some people that were saying they were going to rank Garcia numero uno. What are people searching for who are also searching for Andrew Yang? They're searching for Diana Morales, Maya Wiley, de Blasio, Z-Way, and the cartoon. When they search for Scott Stringer, they search for his bio. Who is Scott Stringer? Andrew Yang. Ooh, nice. Maya Wiley and Diana Morales. If they're searching for Eric Adams, they're searching for Christina Coleman, Eric Adams borough president, Ray McGuire. Interesting. Mayoral polls and Eric Adams' wife. Maya Wiley, they are most likely searching for AOC, Lisa Banez, AOC, polls, and mayor race. And Garcia, they are searching for McGuire, Catherine Garcia, ethnicity, and Maya Wiley. So now we're going to get to the part that I find to be the most telling, which is betting odds. So before we get into the betting odds, if you're watching this live, go ahead and put into your live chat who you think the gamblers are most optimistic about, and how much, if it's not Yang, is it tied with Yang or significantly more or less? So I'm going to give you 5 or 10 seconds to put that in the chat before we reveal the up to the minute, no cheating, please, up to the minute betting odds. You guys ready? Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. I should have put on ultra low latency. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Woke to the Moon believes that the gamblers believe Yang has the best chance. So we'll see if Woke to the Moon is correct. Let us now go. Let's see. Jekalago also agrees that Yang will be the number one from a gambler's point of view. All right. Dr. A says Andrew Yang, of course. But Jamie is saying predicted as bearish on Yang. All right. Kiet is all in on Yang. Maria's thinking Adams. Woke is saying Yang, but by a slim margin. Stormwatcher is saying Yang. Okay, well, let's see what the data says. Hopefully you guys weren't cheating. I know you guys are nerds, so hopefully that means you're less likely to cheat. Here it is, guys. This is it, nerds. What do the... Oh, son of a gun. Hold on. I popped that thing out. Let's close that. What happens? Here it is. Ooh, it is Eric Adams, and it's not by a little bit, homies. It's by quite a bit, man. Almost 50%, or I guess 33% more likely to win than Andrew Yang. You got Garcia, about half of Adams' probability. And then you got Maya Wiley moving up quite a bit. She went from about 9% chance to 14% chance. So the gamblers currently believe that Eric Adams is more likely to become mayor than Andrew MF Yang, which is why I am phone banking also tomorrow for Andrew Yang, because I cannot see this happen. We did not work this hard for the last 2 freaking years to see this incredibly smart man, Andrew Yang, lose to Eric Adams. That is just not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen. David Jackson asks an interesting question. Who do you recommend for number 2? You know, if I weren't trying to game the system, and I really were just trying to say, you know, who do I think, if I couldn't have Andrew Yang as mayor and I were living in New York City, I would probably, I definitely wouldn't do Eric Adams, because I just feel like, that guy, I'm not sure. I think there's just a lot of controversy around his observation of the rules, which is ironic because he was in law enforcement, but, you know, there's that. Garcia's fine. I don't have anything against Garcia. She's just kind of a safe, middle of the road. Like, if you don't want to rock the boat, you know, Garcia is not terrible. Maya Wiley does not strike me as a very inspirational figure, and I felt like her performance in the last debate and kind of ignoring the time limits was unbecoming. But, you know, maybe some people will say she was you know, trying to get her time in the spotlight. Scott Stringer, Scott Stringer seems like really minor league. Like, I'm sure he's a very capable city worker. I don't think he's a mayor. So if I had to pick my number two, I might go with Catherine Garcia, but you know, let me go back to the polls. Maybe there's someone else that I can look at here. Okay, so that's Garcia. She might be my number two. Oh, you know what? Donovan's not bad. Yeah, I don't mind Donovan. Wait a minute. Which one is Donovan? Who the heck is Donovan? Wait a minute. Sean Donovan? I don't even remember Sean Donovan. Let me look up Sean Donovan. Donovan. Oh, no. Not a fan of Sean Donovan. Sean Donovan is boring. Bro is just boring. So no Sean Donovan. I can't put him as my number two. I actually was thinking McGuire. Yeah. Ray McGuire. Now, you know, that might be kind of revealing that I am previously a progressive Republican. But I don't mind Sean Donovan. No, sorry. McGuire. I don't mind McGuire. So if I had to do my ranked choice, I would probably say it would be Yang number one, maybe McGuire number two, then Garcia number three, then Donovan number four. I don't know who would be five. Maybe Stringer. I don't know. It's not that exciting. Anyway, okay, so that was going over the betting odds. And, yeah, not exactly the thing we want to see. Now, next I'm going to do a quick reaction to... going to do a reaction to the debate moment. You know which moment I'm talking about. The one where Adams and Yang really duked it out. But before we do that, I want to also call out the nonprofit that I volunteer for and co-founded, ofthepeople.us. And as is my custom often on these live streams, I want to specifically call out some of the top trending candidates on ofthepeople.us. If you're not familiar, ofthepeople.us is kind of like a Yelp for fresh and up and coming and new candidates. And for those who are supporting basic income, the trending candidates based on how many people in the last 28 days have favorited them on Of the People. And if you don't agree with this ranking, think of it like approval voting. You can just go on Of the People, sign up for a free account, and favorite whoever you approve of, and they'll move up in the rankings. But right now we have Ali Dalzimer, Austin Searle, Sass, Jesse Philippe, and fifth would be Erica Rhodes, and then Christy Seelock, and Michael Swanson, and Badrun Khan. We can go through the whole list, but those are some of the top trending candidates on Of the People. If you are running for office and you are not listed on Of the People, it's free. Just go create your own account and list yourself as a candidate. And if you're a supporter of any of these candidates and you want to see them move up the list and get more exposure on the Nerds channel and social media, just go ahead and favorite them. Ofthepeople.us. Okay, now, the Matt Skidmore show, which is like the C-SPAN of any Yang content, was very nice, and he did a full highlights of the last debate. So I wanted to call out the moment that a lot of us found most memorable, which was the moment when Eric Adams and Andrew Yang traded, through hands, as they used to say. So here we go. Let's see if we can watch a little bit of it together.
Whom do you like to address?
To Andrew.
Mr. Yang.
Andrew, and it really impacted me when I saw you do a press conference after there was a shooting blocks from your home. So you were late on responding to the gun violence in the city. Your company discriminated against people of color. You left the city during a very difficult time, even during the time when I did not see my son over 2 months because I was in the street during COVID. You did not vote in municipal elections at all. I just don't know, how the hell do we have you become our mayor with this record like this? How do you govern a diverse city like this? I just can't get it.
All right, so first of all, one of the things I don't like about Eric Adams is he's kind of like very dismissive and disrespectful in how he communicates. He's sort of like, really? Like, how could you do this? And it's the person you're talking to ran a national presidential campaign, was the CEO of the #1 test prep company in the country, received awards from the Obama campaign, started a nonprofit, is a analyst on CNN, has written a best-selling book, and you talk about him like, how dare he run for mayor? And honestly, that's kind of, it's very disappointing coming from Eric Adams to hear him say that and to talk to another candidate like that.
Eric, New Yorkers know exactly what I've been up to the past several years. I started an anti-poverty movement that has helped millions of New Yorkers in our time of need, and I moved to Georgia to help win the Senate. Can you all imagine what we'd be facing right now if Mitch McConnell were still the Senate Majority Leader instead of New York's own Chuck Schumer? That has given us a lifeline, an opportunity to actually get out of this crisis. I'm proud.
I love mentioning his work in Georgia because I think it cleverly elevates him beyond the mayoral arena. So it's like, hey man, you're talking about like noise ordinances in Brooklyn, an important issue, but I also care enough as an American to try and make sure that the Senate doesn't fall into the hands of radical MAGA. So when you ask me like, hey, do I think I can handle the job of mayor? Just remember, I was fighting on an even bigger playing field, when you were engaging in whatever activity you were engaging with, with your local politics.
Of that work, I'm proud to have been an official surrogate for the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris campaign to get Trump out. And now, Eric, we need to turn the page on the people who've been running our city into the ground for the last number of years. And you talk about public safety and securing these shootings. Again, 3 out of 4 shootings in Brooklyn are going unsolved right now. You're the Brooklyn borough president. The problems have been getting worse around you while you've been running for mayor and raising money from your friends in real estate. So if you get a choice between Eric Adams for mayor or Andrew Yang for mayor, I think New Yorkers are going to choose Andrew Yang because they know we need a fresh start. We need to turn the page on what has not been working.
Strong answer from Yang. He basically elevates himself. He does not back down. He does not look like he's stumbling from the Adams attack. let's see what happens next.
But the problem was getting worse because you weren't on the ground. You started discovering NYCHA when you were running for mayor. You just started discovering violence when you were running for mayor. You started discovering the homeless crisis when you're running for mayor. You can't run from this.
The notion that somehow Andrew Yang just started discovering poverty and homelessness when he decided to run for mayor is just absurd for anyone who's been paying attention to Yang. But, you know, I also understand why Adams is effectively trying to draw this caricature of a Yang who came out of nowhere and doesn't really care. Because a lot of people, while they may know the name Yang, they still aren't familiar with some of the policy initiatives and kind of really innovative policy and reform ideas that Yang has been advocating for many, many years now, with Venture for America, of course, the presidential race with basic income and Humanity Forward. But, you know, I get what Adams is doing. It's like, hey, you came out of nowhere, and I've been working all this time, and where the hell have you been?
City, Andrew, if you want to run the city, I was here on the ground for 35 uninterrupted years. You know you were not. And so let's be honest about that. So why should we trust you now?
I don't know, man. If being on the ground for 30 plus years is a criteria for being a great mayor, I'd imagine de Blasio was probably in New York for a number of uninterrupted years, and he kind of sucks.
You may flee again during a difficult time.
Now, flee, you know, if you had 2 kids and your job was in broadcast and you had a second home in upstate New York, I don't know what Adams wanted Yang to do by staying in New York City. Like, was he supposed to go and hand out masks? Like, what did Adams do while he was in the city? So you could argue that sort of de-densifying New York City during a pandemic and putting yourself in a rural area could have been a favor and a responsible thing to do. And frankly, as a father and a husband, like, if New York is being overwhelmed and the hospitals don't even have enough capacity, why force them to stay in a little apartment? Like, if you can, I think everybody would have done the right thing by their family.
Never fled the city. I protected the city. I wore a bulletproof vest for 22 years and protected the children and families of this city. You cannot say anywhere.
Now, that's an interesting little connection. He's saying, like, you fled the city and I wore a bulletproof vest for the city. And it's kind of conflating, like, well, Yang went to upstate New York during a pandemic when the city was overwhelmed and its services and infrastructure were overwhelmed. And it's not like they were asking for volunteers and everybody go show up at your hospital and put on scrubs. Everybody's just locked down and sheltering in place. So the fact that he puts his family in a car and goes into the rural area to then shelter in place versus sheltering in place, you know, near Times Square, seems like a lot of smoke and not a lot of fire. And then to say, like, oh, and not like me, I stayed in the city. Well, what did you do, Eric Adams? What did you do during the pandemic? Now, maybe, and I don't know, if there's Adams supporters out there, feel free to put in the comments. Like, if he were volunteering at a COVID test facility, or if he were, sanitizing public areas, or if he were encouraging everybody to handing out masks and encouraging social distancing, or volunteering for local businesses while Yang was in upstate New York, that's a different story. But I don't feel like, it's not like Eric Adams was somehow like the Dr. Fauci of New York City, as far as I know. I don't know what he did during the pandemic that he's so proud of, that somehow Yang sheltering in place in New York State, it makes it such a big deal.
All right, thank you. Mr. Yang, 15-second response.
Sure. Eric, we all know that you've been investigated for corruption everywhere you've gone. City, state, even Barack Obama's Department of Justice investigated you. You've achieved the rare trifecta of corruption investigations. Is that really what we want in the next mayor? Do you think you're going to enter City Hall and it's going to be different? We all know it's going to be exactly the same. That's why so many people on the stage don't want you to be mayor.
So many people on the stage, I guess they want you to be mayor. What am I missing here? Andrew,
I think you're both right. You both should be mayor.
Let's be clear on something, Andrew. There was no investigation that came up and said Eric did anything wrong. And you should never get in a point as a person of color that's wrongly accused often in this country, you should never get in a point that to determine that we...
Well, now that's interesting. So this is a bit of a dog whistle. And usually we use the term dog whistle to talk about Trump and radical MAGA people riling up closet racists. Here is Adam saying, you Asian man, don't be telling me about being investigated because I'm a black man. And the history is that black leaders are often unfairly accused of things. So how dare you, Andrew Yang, raise the fact that I'm investigated everywhere I go? That is a little, like, in my opinion, the slime meter is very high. This is where I'm talking about Eric Adams kind of stoking anti-Asian tension, black Asian tension. He also did the same thing when he said, people like Andrew Yang have never worked like us. Not sure what he meant by that, but I think you guys all can feel the vibe that Adams is definitely not a unifier.
Because someone reviews something that they did something wrong. You should apologize. You should apologize for making that comment.
Saying that this is simply because you're black, I just don't think it's correct, given that there are other candidates of color on the stage who have not been the subject of the investigations that you have. Front page news.
Well, now Adams is saying that Yang needs to apologize to him when Yang says, hey, just because you're black doesn't mean you didn't do anything wrong. And now Eric Adams says, oh, I didn't say that. You better apologize.
New York Times, broke the CFB's fundraising rules. Like everywhere you've gone, Eric, people look and see that you don't pay attention to the rules of the road. You're unprincipled. Like you actually advised New Yorkers last summer to go confront their neighbors over illicit fireworks, and a woman followed your advice, Shatavia Walls, and she lost her life. Like my assessment told New Yorkers to bring a gun to a place of worship, and we all know that's the wrong answer.
Listen, Andrew, that's inaccurate. If you were here, you would know exactly what happened, and that's inaccurate.
Oh, I have to give Adam some credit. When he's under attack, he's able to kind of like spar back. So you've got here Yang is saying like, look, man, you're giving all this terrible advice. People are following it. And in some cases getting killed. And then you see Adams is like, he basically does some judo and he's like, well, that's not true. And if you were here not hiding in upstate New York, you'd know, right? So he quickly changes the focus. So Adams he's clever and he's definitely a good debater and he's a good sort of arguer. Does he convey the sense of authenticity, integrity, and respect? No, but that may not matter to many voters. Maybe voters like this kind of Eric Adams.
And so throwing out things that are inaccurate is not making them right in the process. But I laid out to you was accurate.
Have nothing to do with how we're going to run this city and make it better. Zero to do. These are all ad hominem attacks.
That's my guy. I like him, McGuire. He's good. I would like to see Yang and McGuire kind of work together.
I agree with you, Mr. Ware.
New Yorkers are not benefiting from it.
Thank you very much.
We need to move forward.
Let's move on. Mr. Yang, more cops in the subway?
All right. So that was my reaction to the debate. I definitely feel like Adams is kind of slimy, kind of a jerk, in my opinion. I would not be surprised if Adams was a bit of a bully. He reminds me of people that I've encountered in my life when I was like younger. But you know, hopefully the best person will win. I know we've been talking for a while, so I am gonna probably wrap up shortly. But before I do that, if you have any questions in the comments in the live chat, just put them up and I will answer as best I can. And before I do that, I also want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. And let's see if I have any questions in the chat. So the first one, and I'll just highlight some of the comments that came up as well. Let's see. So here we go. Elizabeth Norris says, they act like Yang just got out of preschool is wanting to take over. I know. This guy is probably the most educated mayor New York City has ever had. He went to Phillips Exeter, pretty much the most rigorous high school in the country. Brown University Economics, Ivy League undergrad. Columbia University law degree. Startup founder, CEO of the #1 test prep company in New York that was then acquired. Founder of Venture for America, presidential candidate that came out of nowhere and started a national movement. Founder of Humanity Forward, which has given millions of dollars away to people in need. And yeah, they act like he's in preschool. It's so freaking ugh. And Adams, like, what do you have, man? Like, what are you bringing to the table other than a string of accusations about corruption? Bond says that Adams is a crybaby. Gnome is that Yang did give out masks in New York, and he's getting beat up for bringing his family to upstate New York. Oh, we got a new subscriber, Zartario. Thank you for subscribing, Zartario. Spider-Man says, Adams tried to talk smack and got smacked up. He should sell cry towels in the merch shop. Bond is saying that Adams is irrelevant. He might be irrelevant, but he's a top 3 candidate. Yeah. Then people are saying that Adams got body slammed. Stringer trying to jump in. Yeah, Stringer, man, when you hear that guy talk, he's kind of like, I know, well, this is a good example where, some people say, hey, how come you never criticize how males appear or how they speak? And let me prove that is not always true, because Scott Stringer sounds kind of whiny and kind of like, just does not inspire confidence. He's just sort of like, seems like a complainer. Godspeed saying that Adams was playing the race card. Ben feels the same way. Yes, Spider-Man, I agree. Adams has a Trumpian vibe. It's kind of like and I'll be honest with you. I was doing, Ira, a new member. Let me get my cowbell. Thank you, Ira. So yeah, I was doing some phone banking today. I wasn't going to share this, but since Spider-Man raised a good point about the Adams Trumpian vibe, I was doing some phone banking today, and I will tell you what. There was definitely, I called one person who was pretty racist about Yang, and he was basically saying, hey, I don't like Yang because all Asian people hate black people. And when I go to a store, and this individual had identified himself as a black American. And when I go to a store, the Asian people are just, hey, dude, you're knocking into the green screen. Can you, Ryan, can you take the dogs out, man? I'm in the middle of a live stream. When I go to a store, you know, the Asian store owner is always like following me around, blah, blah, blah. So I said on the phone banking, I was like, well, look, I'm Asian and I love black people. And, you know, my roommate in college, black dude, great guy. We ended up sharing a condo when we were in grad school. Still, I'm actually about to have a little reunion chat with him. Oh, shoot. Like now I was supposed to call him. So I'm going to need to wrap this up. But at any rate, there is definitely a tension. And I think Adams is stoking that tension, and it's unfortunate. All right. Let's see. Sleeve is saying, yes, leaving a densely populated city during pandemic with large numbers of people together is not good. Yeah, agree. So, news on Crystal Ball. I'm trying to get them and Cigar onto the show. I haven't heard any reply yet. So if you go to my Twitter, you see that I was asking them, or you just tweet at Crystal Ball and Cigar and say, can you be on Nerds for Humanity? A lot of the guests that we get, when I reach out, they don't really know who I am, and they're like, oh, I don't really know why. But then when other people ask them to come on the show, then they're like, oh, I guess some people do watch Nerds for Humanity. Let me see if I can blaze through this. Do you think there should be a third legislative chamber? No, I actually think we should get rid of the filibuster. Question 2, what do you think if the U.S. abolished Congress and replaced it with national? I lived in Switzerland. It can work. It means it takes forever to get anything done. Oh, a great day, 888. Thank you for subscribing. All right. I think we got through all of the questions, and I just realized I'm late for a virtual reunion with some of my college friends. By the way, if you have kids that are looking at colleges, or you yourself are in high school, feel free to consider Bowdoin College in Maine, a very small liberal arts college that was founded in 1794. It will give you a great education, prepare you for leadership and life, and has tons of financial aid for people from all economic backgrounds. And Nathaniel Hawthorne had a U.S. President, Franklin Pierce, Senator George Mitchell, a lot of great alumni that came out of there, and Nerds for Humanity. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, nerds!